Hi, besties. Welcome to the podcast where we're all friends because we love all things Bravo, pop culture, and can't stop talking
Having so much fun.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Bravo should be fun.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your host here at Besties by Bravo. Allegedly allegations, where we're in a safe space to gossip, share our thoughts, and opinions.
That girl's a liar. That girl's a liar.
About the Bravo celebrities, shows, and celebs we love, hate, and
that's when
love
Chef
to
goes,
hate.
Oh, suddenly now you're so religious?
So be cool. Don't be all uncool.
He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
Because sometimes things may get a little, well, ridiculous.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on. Oh my God!
It's like the Blair Witch Project or something. All you can hear in the background is, oh my God, has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God, can you look on the floor for my ring? God, someone's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
I'm so glad you're here to enjoy the fun. So, thank you for joining me on Besties by Bravo.
Hi, besties. Thanks for joining. I have Georgio with me because can I even do this without him anymore at this point?
Why not?
Like, I mean, where's the fun in that? We are going to discuss Salt Lake City today. And after we do this, we're live on YouTube. And after we are no longer live on YouTube, we are doing a recording on Beverly Hills because, gotta just cover it all. It's been a week, okay? So we're gonna try and keep this a little shorter and sweeter as best we can. Huh? How are you doing, Georgio?
Hey, I am here. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion looks have dropped in from Macy's.
I meant to pull these up to display. I need to bring this back up here. I'm just looking on my phone, and this is not it. Lisa looks. I like her look the best, but it's very casual.
First of all, for everyone that is coming for me because I did a video on the looks, I am not shitting on the ladies. I love my ladies. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. This has nothing to do with them. Has everything to do with this is now the fourth reunion, and it's always there's certain people that like I love Baby Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But why are we so safe with the dresses or not getting things tailored or, oh crap, reunions today. Let me run to Bloomingdale's. Like what?
Meredith in particular, I don't understand this red draped thing with, it looks like I'm going to assume it must be one of the Meredith marks, maybe not plated line, but it's like a giant pendant that on my small phone screen looks like one of those like tortoiseshell plastic. Now it may not look like that on,
Right. And I said, maybe these looks look better when they're sitting. You know how sometimes like in the photos, it doesn't register and then we watch it on TV and you're like, oh, wow, it actually looks great on screen when they're sitting. So I get it. But I'm not even talking about that angle. It's like literally we ran into our closet, grabbed whatever and just was like, what's the theme? Okay, whatever.
Angie looks
It-
hot. This
Angie
little
looks
red
hot.
dress.
Angie looks hot, but
But it's not a
also
reunion
looks like
dress.
it's not the what reunion are you at? That's not the same reunion.
That's like a Vanderpump
Everyone else
Rules
looks like
reunion.
they came off a Carnival cruise, and she's like, "Hi, I just finished bottle service. What's up?" I
It's-
love you, Angie, but like you totally
Yeah.
look like a bottle service girl. I love it. Oh gosh, I could get eaten up alive for these.
Yeah, I don't care what anybody listen, we are not talking about them as people. We're talking about the things
know.
they are putting on top of their
I
body.
know.
I can't quite get over Meredith's is so bad. It's
I
not
think it's
flattering.
because the plunging of the dress and the length of the pendant is also the same length. It
Yes.
feels like everything's literally sitting at the bottom of the sink.
It
And I just
drags
feel
everything
like,
down.
and if it is a Meredith Marks dress, perhaps the necklace is what's throwing it off the most. Because I don't think that the dress is horrible.
Uh,
I
dress is
don't,
bad.
but I also am confused about what theme they were going for, because some people looked like super casual, others looked like they were coming off a Carnival cruise, Heather. And then Monica was like, I'm going Kardashian from 2009.
Oh, it looks like, looking at the set, it looks like they were going with the theme of like tropical and like Bermuda, because they've got
Fine, but like, can we dress it up a touch more? Can we add some sparkle or
yeah, it's
a
not good.
sequin of some sort?
It's not good. It's not good. I don't know. They're going to a beach party is clearly what this is supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, oh God. Okay. All right. Well, I cannot wait for the reunion because apparently it's going to be explosive.
Yes,
Um,
that's what I heard.
Giorgio, are you going to be going to New York to see Ariana Madix as Roxy Hart in Chicago?
I'm undecided.
I already got
I
my
don't
tickets.
typically, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big Broadway person. I like to go. If like when we lived in New York, we would go all the time because it's like whatever. So I'm undecided. It's also the week that my birthday is premiering.
Premiering.
My 40th birthday is premiering that week. So you
Mhm.
never know. You might see me there. But I'm thinking about it. I think she'll be good. I think she definitely will kill it. And
Mhm.
she just came off Dancing with the Stars, so she's already kind of been rehearsing.
Yeah.
So congrats to her.
Yeah, and she was a theater major, so, I think it's a great fit, honestly. I think it'll be fun. Chicago, it's not like we're going to see Hamilton and it needs to be, a specific like type of thing. It's not Phantom of the Opera. So I think it'll be fun. I'm hoping. I haven't been to New York in a while, so I mean, as if my wallet has recovered from BravoCon, which it has not. Because it's also Christmas, Hanukkah,
I
whatever
know.
you
Can you
celebrate, it's
believe
the
it?
holidays.
It's literally what? Little more than 2 weeks away, which is insane.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Um, okay. There wasn't a ton of Bravo news that I feel like came out this week, so should we just jump into Salt Lake City? 'Cause did I forget
Yeah,
anything?
I mean, it's winding up.
Yeah, sure is. Sure is. Okay. Well, I love how Monica is continuing to be very much our relatability queen, bleaching her mustache before we gotta get my face in order, girl. Cute. Mhm. Uh, basically, I just want to start really from where we're at the airport. Angie, sweet baby doll. I think you could have just used one of those pimple patches. I have worn them in public so many times and put makeup over them and completely forgotten. No one even noticed. I don't think we needed the 3 rhinestones across the forehead. It really now, no, she was looking alien-esque. Now, come on.
Well, listen, I secretly think Angie's I think people are trying to throw out there that she's part of the Greek mafia. I think she is actually from a different alien tribe.
Mhm.
And she just
Mhm.
maybe those were really not pimple patches. They were sensor telecommunications.
Yes, those were
Because she's
extra
getting on a
eyes.
plane, you know, she's at a higher altitude. She'll be able to connect with her
Better
other
connection.
family.
Yeah. Totally. A
It's
better connection to the galaxy up there. Higher altitude.
I am very much a pimple patch fan.
Yes.
I love you guys that make those pimple patches. I am not loyal to any brand. If you guys make a patch for pimples, I will buy it. And I am very much the person at the airport that looks like a homeless person, but chic, very Mary Kate, you know, like disheveled a little bit, early morning, pimple patch, maybe 2.
Maybe
I
3.
don't.
We're not rhinestoning.
Did it have like a sparkle or something? Did she put like a?
They were
didn't look
rhinestones.
completely clear. They were okay. Do they make rhinestone pimple patches?
Not that I'm aware of, but maybe Angie is onto something. Maybe it's a
And
new
she got
business she
up
could
extra
start.
early to put some rhinestones on top of the pimple patch.
Yes, she probably got her eyelash glue and glued them on that way. Oh,
I
thank you,
love that.
Adam. Thank you for joining us.
Adam.
For those only listening, Adam said you both look gorgeous today. Oh, thank you. Thank you, baby gorgeous. Yeah,
very
I just it was a really interesting take on the pimple fighting. Okay. Whenever they get into Bermuda. They've been on the plane, they did the whole thing. Meredith trying to hijack the heater in the van because she wasn't feeling well, and it is because she's, according to Heather, coming off of the benzos she took to sleep on the plane. And Whitney's like, she took 2 by accident. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I'm not making pill popping accusations from pimple popping to pill popping. But I have a feeling I know what she took. And they said it was Xanax, but I don't think it was Xanax. So I used to take a medication to sleep until I realized I didn't need it anymore, which, I mean, who needs sleep, right? I think it may have been in the family of like trazodone, because I know that feeling when you've taken too much of it, if you didn't need as high of a dose and you feel like dog shit afterward. I mean, the fact that Meredith was still sleeping inside of the airport. Now, can it dehydrate you? Yes, actually it can. So that's why I'm thinking that might have been closer, because trazodone is actually used more so for sleeping, even though it is technically an antidepressant. I mean, and for most people, it'll knock you right out. Like, out.
I'm so lucky in that way. I could fall asleep standing in a corner. I do not, and you could rob my house. I wouldn't wake up. I wouldn't wake up. Jeff is the lightest sleeper. And so it's like, we literally are opposites. But like, he's been like, we could have like a train run through the house and you wouldn't even flinch. So I find it hilarious that someone needs that much just to get on a flight, just to fall asleep. She also downed it with a bunch of champagne. So
yeah, Whitney did call her out for the cocktails.
Like,
I mean, love how we learned that the sands in Bermuda are pink because of the parrotfish's shit. Who said this show isn't educational?
Not seeming so pretty now.
Oh my god. So they get to the house, and apparently they decide they are going to channel the OG Roni ladies by running and staking claim on the rooms. And Meredith is like, you know, basically Vicky in Iceland with a freaking sheet over her head. I just want one with bathtub. And let's take a wild guess at whether or not she got one with a bathtub. What do you think, Georgio? Did she?
No, nope. I knew this was going to happen to Meredith. I knew it. I knew they would get there and something would go wrong for her.
Something always does.
Yeah, it always does, because it's like classic for Meredith to go on a trip. Nothing's laid out the way she needs it. And now no bathtub. You guys are really like, you guys are asking for it, because that is synonymous with like someone who needs water. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I just told you guys I'm freezing. I'm coming down off these pills. I need a bathtub, and now I get a stand-up shower, which is supposed to sit on the ground, let the hot water like run over her.
First of all, clearly you have not been hungover enough to sit at the bottom of the shower. And just
Fun fact, I slipped apparently in my recap and said something about like I get cold a lot too, but I don't use bathtubs to heat up. I use blow dryers, and I've gotten flooded with people wanting to know more about this blow dryer thing. So for everyone that cares or doesn't, we have blow dryers in every bathroom in this house because I use blow dryers to give myself a little warm up. So sometimes when I'm sitting here, I get really, really cold, and that makes me annoyed. And so I need a little heat, So I can't crank the heat up in my house because it'll be annoying because then the whole house is hot. So I just go in and take the blow dryer and I just rummage it around, get a little heat on me, and then I'm like back out. So that's
a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people do that. There are people who are actually like addicted to their blow dryer, and they'll like fall asleep with it on them and it burns them. And so as long as you're not doing that, I think we're okay.
I haven't gotten that far in my journey yet, but no, just the occasional I need a little warm up.
Okay.
A shot of hot air.
That's normal.
I don't bring it to bed with me.
No, don't. Please don't. Let's just leave it out. Like blow dryers should not be covered up. They should not be,
While it's on?
They'll put it on their,
Oh no, that is just asking for something to spark in. Yeah. Well, because blow dryers overheat if you leave them on for too long anyway.
This is true. Blow dryers can also spontaneously catch fire when just plugged in.
And suddenly this is a safety video for blow dryers.
It is. Here's your PSA for the day. So yeah, Meredith did look kind of gray and not well. And it's lunchtime for everybody, and Monica decides to make Meredith a little plate because clearly Monica is trying to stay on her good side. I am now concerned about Angie getting a suntan of little dots on her forehead because she is just being outdoors with this. Like, what? Girl, just show the goddamn pimple. Just use the pimple patch. Just use it. She still had those rhinestones on the beach while she's sitting there talking to Whitney. It's too much. Too much. You're going to regret it later because then that's worse than having the pimple patch. Damn it.
Well, at least a pimple patch the sun can get through because they're usually clear.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that they have SPF in them. That's a question
Probably
for the
not.
masses. I doubt it. And oh, hi, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
So in confessional, Whitney is telling us how Lisa and Heather are talking about Lisa and Whitney's issues while Whitney and Angie are talking about Whitney and Lisa's issues. Okay. So in confessional, Whitney's telling us how
Lisa is becoming a better version of herself. But, right now feels like that's all out the door. I'm not very happy with Lisa.
Okay. So I'm curious about your thoughts on this portion of things, because we all know that I tend to automatically assume the best in people. So sometimes I'm gullible and not quite so smart. But Heather says to Lisa when they're having their talk,
Whitney said she's been helping you, like, not make it all about you and is, like, really proud of you for not reacting to things and that you're changing the way you are.
And then Lisa goes, wait, what?
Yeah, she said she was proud of you. And she basically said you'd be shocked if you knew the hard talks I've had with Lisa and how well she's doing and how proud I am of her.
I think Heather originally started this out as a positive thing. And then she saw Lisa get, wait, what? What do you mean? Trying to make me be a better person. What? And then that's when Heather went, oh, okay, well, why not? Let's go that way.
Well, here's the thing. I think from my angle, there was an interview where Whitney was kind of saying what Heather said Whitney was saying. So I do believe that Whitney does feel like her being in Lisa Barlow's life has somehow made her a better person. She kind of references that in an interview portion. Now, I said this last week, and I will say it till the cows come home. I have total compassion and empathy for Whitney because losing someone that you care about, that you've been very close to, is enough to rock your world.
Mhm.
However, it is not fair that she's pinning all of this stuff on Lisa. She's projecting stuff onto Lisa, and Lisa's picked up on that at this point. So this is really, I think this is going to get easily mixed in with not having compassion for Whitney losing her friend, and it's going to get lost in the sauce. But I do think that Whitney is trying to play I'm the goody goody and I'm a good influence and all of this stuff. And she's not.
No, she's
You're
still
not.
Whitney.
Whitney, you're Whitney. You're messy. You've been messy since you've been on the show, which is since the beginning, you've been messy. So this season, she's coming off like how Kyle's coming off. Like she just stopped drinking and now she's going to point out every alcoholic in the room because she's an expert.
Right.
It's too much. And I don't feel like it's fair. But because she's lost her friend, you can't go at her at the same velocity. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a sticky situation.
It's
and
very
it's tough.
sticky.
It's
Mhm.
tough.
I mean, and to your point with Whitney thinking she's, some grand intuitive healer, Lisa says in confessional, give a girl a crystal and now she thinks she's the Dalai Lama. And now she's thinking that hanging out with her is making me a better person. You're not the Messiah, Whitney. Maybe you should go back to church and find out who Jesus actually really is.
I mean, Jesus was like,
Yeah.
the references, Lisa Barlow, I love it. Like,
Yep.
free press, because she mentions it.
Mhm.
If Jesus is now walking across the water, I'm not being influenced. Like, yeah, Whitney, she doesn't need to be influenced. She clearly,
No.
she's
Lisa is
fine.
the influencer.
She's
Yes.
fine. People have been coming for Lisa's neck since she's come on the show.
100%.
So, like, she's ready.
Yes. And
I'm so confused by this.
yeah. Well, and here's the thing too. As someone personally, I am going through a grieving process myself. Giorgio, you have been through unimaginable grief. And so we're not speaking on this as like not being able to empathize and sympathize. It's that it's hard for the people around you to process your grief no matter what, no matter who it is that you've lost, no matter what's going on. It is always so painful also for the people who love you and, are in your life and the people you have relationships with because you don't. And I think part of the difficulty in this is that Whitney knows that and she's not articulating that here's what because she wants something different from every single person, which that's life. That's the way we have different. I've talked about this before, how you have your friend who, look, he pissed me off, and that the friend that you want to be pissed off with you, they're the one that you go to when they're going to be like, hey, let's go burn his house down. Let's go. I already have the spot in the backyard to bury the body. And then you have the friend who's going to love you and coddle you and give you hugs and say, do you want some ice cream? Let's sit and watch some movies. We all have those different relationships. And the thing is, Whitney is not articulating to Lisa, look, and she waited until it was too late after she'd already blown up at her. And quite frankly, I don't think Whitney should have been at Meredith's jewelry party. It was too soon. She needed to, but also I get, and so who am I to say that? Because maybe she needed to be out of the house. So there's a side to all of it. Every single angle you can take. But
But here's my thing with Whitney. You are fighting with Heather through someone else still. Rather than you go up to Heather, you're really mad at Heather. Heather's your family. Heather, of all people, knows your friend more than Lisa did. Okay? The fact of the matter is you were triggered because you saw Heather being put on a pedestal for a second because she was given a gift.
There you go.
And you ran off with that and you were not logical, and I'm not expecting her to be in this moment.
Right.
But then, hell, girl, at least realize that that's what it is. and
Mhm.
you've isolated Lisa like as if she came in and was just like, "Oh, I didn't even know your friend died. Get over it." Like
Exactly. I
that's
mean,
how
she
she's being
singled her
treated.
out. Yeah.
It wasn't like that. I didn't read it that way.
No, I didn't either. Do I think Lisa could have been more sensitive with some of the things she did and said? Yes, I 100% do, only because where as the audience could easily see the state Whitney was in. I mean, she was hanging by a thread, not to be promoting Meredith and Seth's podcast, but that's truly where she was at. And you know, I think Whitney was starting to see a little bit for a second once we get to that dinner. But speaking of hanging by a thread, Meredith. So Monica goes and brings her a plate because again, Monica still wants to be on Meredith's good side, which we'll get to, where I'm thinking some things have really changed and it's a little confusing to me. But you know, Meredith says in confessional that we are on vacation, and if one of the other women were sick and needed to get into bed and also loves their bathtub, I would have made sure that they had somewhere comfortable to go. But you can't give me a decent room with a bathtub when I feel like I'm dying right now. Meredith, you were dehydrated and took too many benzos with booze. You dehydrated yourself by taking the booze with it. Thank you very much. The thing is, Meredith only said to Monica that she felt like she had no respect from the women in the group. And then this tells you a lot about what Monica knows to do and what she was doing, because Monica goes straight to Heather and Lisa. And she says that Meredith told her everyone in that group is selfish. I didn't hear Meredith specifically say that. What she said was a very different feeling and connotation. She was still technically saying that. Let's be real.
She didn't say that.
No, she sure did not. And we get another classic Lisa-ism. I know that Meredith has an obsession with bathtubs, but I have an obsession with views. And I have one, and I'm not giving that up. Meredith getting that treatment for her deathbed ailment. Just hang that picture in the Louvre, could we?
Listen, I'm going to start taking these, like the Denise Richards faces. Those are all going to be framed and they're going to be going up my stairwell. So when every guest comes, it's just going to look like a pizza parlor in New York City where they have pictures of all the celebrities that come and eaten their pizza from 1987. That's what it's going to look like.
Oh my God. The rum tasting, I guess Monica she didn't start drinking until she was in her 30s because Mormon, until she was excommunicated. Heather tells all the girls about how Meredith is getting the IV and everyone's just kind of like, oh my God. And Meredith getting her makeup.
Listen.
She was getting casket ready, honey.
It looked good though when she got on the bus. I was like, wow, she's glowing. She doesn't look dehydrated. She doesn't look sick. That makeup artist beat that shit into her face while she laid there and let the IV rehydrate her. Listen, when the producer texted her and was like, it's going to actually work today, she's like, I don't know.
Give me a bathtub and we'll talk.
I thought I said get a bathtub for these trips for me. Look, we needed that moment. It didn't seem like there was all too much going on when they first got there. So the Meredith not feeling well bit was priceless.
It was. Yeah, it truly was. Meredith has never Meredith so hard as she is this season. And I think Meredith is sort of embracing her villain era. Sort of.
Little bit.
Mm-hmm. More than she ever has. Because when she gets they get in the Sprinter van. And Meredith goes, I have a question for everyone in this car. And Lisa goes, oh God.
Well, because she's not happy.
It's like Mother came on to the bus and just was getting ready to get everybody rounded up. She wanted to just get everyone in line.
Mm-hmm.
Who here has a room with a bathtub in it?
So here's what the problem has now become. That Meredith, she's made it such a thing. Because if it were me, if I were on this trip, I would be like, give the woman my room. I don't give a shit. I'd be like, just take the goddamn bathtub. But now it's become a power move, is what it's all turned into. And no one can give up their room. No one can do it.
Well, you know what's really interesting? Since Monica was in there building a big ass plate for Meredith, who's definitely not going to eat any of that shit. Why didn't you give her your room?
I thought the same exact
And if not
thing.
give her your room, why not say, Meredith,
Come to my bathtub.
please go soak in my bathtub whenever you want. I'm
Yes.
so sorry you don't have a bathtub. That would have been better than you going out and making this big plate like you're making it for a truck driver. And you're like, she's got to eat something at some point. Like, do you think Meredith Marks, plated by Meredith Marks, is going to build herself a plate with a
Sub.
turkey club and a pound of chips, a salad with a bunch of dressing that... Like, no.
Mm-mm.
And you saw her face when she walked in there with the plate. Like, she was like, what the fuck is that? Oh, okay, thanks. I'd
She's like,
rather have a
"Unless it's
bathtub.
a
I don't
bathtub."
want the carbs. I want
No.
a bathtub. I want to soak.
I want to
Maybe
be
Meredith
shriveled up.
recharges. Maybe she's like a water being and she's like the mermaid, you know, that
Mhm.
has to, like in Splash, that has to just have a few minutes in the water
That's what it is.
to like recharge her juices. I think that's what bathtubs do to her. So it's a real thing. And I think someone online I saw, I don't recall, but they said, you know, what was it? They called it NTS, like something something tub syndrome, no tub syndrome,
No tub.
something. I think that's a thing for her.
I mean, Meredith Madison, it kind of, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think so. Meredith is a mermaid, is what we've completely concluded now. And she's about to turn into a very angry mermaid, like the kind you saw in Harry Potter. This took a totally different turn. Did you see that? Did you catch it? Yeah, it happened. Because also here's the problem too, is if someone went ahead and gave her their room at this point in the Sprinter van, Meredith would have been like, no, I needed it earlier. That was the moment to do the right thing. You
called
know
having
that's what would have
class.
happened.
Well, no, don't give it to me after I just bitched about it. I told y'all I was sick and cold the whole time when we left the airport. But instead, you bring me a plate of chips and like a half a sub. I don't want that.
Nope. At all. At all. Maybe if
Does
she had
she
eaten
look
that.
like she's going to pick up a sub and eat it? I'm serious. Do you really think
I know.
so? Could you picture Meredith picking up a 6-inch sub and
No.
just piling it into her mouth and then shoving some chips in there and be like, all right, you guys
No.
ready to go? Like, no.
No, there's too much filler and frozen things to I mean, she looks fabulous. I'm not talking shit on how she looks. I'm just saying, like, that's no, it's not possible. So then Meredith continues it all, like, again, if any one of you are sick and the thing you needed was a bath, I'd make sure you got one. Because whenever she gets more upset and emphasizes the point, her forehead goes forward, losing a wig. Angie ends up bringing up that Meredith was well enough to make a joke about Heather spreading her legs in her room. I was like, Angie, why? Angie, just enjoy where you're at, okay?
Angie said, and another thing, bitch.
She did. And it was like, what was the point? She's like, while everyone's mad at you already about wanting their bathtubs, guess why else they should be mad at you? You said Heather was gonna spread her legs. Did Meredith not know how to jump on the joke train of that in the moment when they were talking about, I don't know, Heather having like a male visitor? Yeah, it was awkward. She did it in that way that like a mom is like, oh,
Yes. Not
honey.
funny. She's like, oh, are you just gonna like throw your legs up in the air, Heather? Like, what?
No.
What are you
Meredith,
talking
leave it.
about?
Leave
Don't.
it.
No, Mom, Meredith.
Mom.
I mean, she is Mother Meredith. Let's
She
not
is.
mince words, okay?
No,
Respect.
we're not. She is Mother. And then Meredith uses that to make the point that Angie yelled at Meredith about spreading her legs when they were at the après-ski party. And Meredith is like,
Well, that's what you yell at me.
and we get that flashback of Angie being like, no one spreads their legs outside their marriage except for Meredith Marks. Can you imagine again being in your faux fur and like, I don't know, Montclair jacket sitting there heated up, just sweating your ass off because you're not actually skiing. And then these women are yelling that. You're like, hot damn. God bless that Sprinter van driver. What was it? Jonathan? Was that his name?
He
John?
was so like, what is this that I'm dealing with?
He just was like, I'm just going to pretend I don't hear it. But you know, as soon as they went inside, he was like, I don't know, calling
You
up.
know, he heard it. That was not that big of a Sprinter van because when they kept flashing to him, Lisa was like literally like right behind.
Right
There's
there.
no way he wasn't hearing every bit of that.
But you know, he was like calling up his partner afterward, being like, the tea, honey.
He probably didn't even know what that was. He was like, these women were filming something. They were all like
Yeah.
yelling about
No
bathtubs
idea.
and-
Right. So something I did notice was you can tell Monica's newer confessionals very well.
Mhm, mhm.
I don't like to speak on anyone's weight, body, anything like that. What I am telling you that is very clear. Because she was noticeably thinner at BravoCon, I would say. She was she was very small to begin with. In spite of Mary's body shaming, I found that Monica was a perfect size. Okay. She was noticeably thinner. And you can see the newer confessionals. I'm just kind of pointing that out for everyone listening, watching that it might be interesting to try and put some things together by knowing that these particular confessionals in the white strapless dress are absolutely newer. So
I guarantee you that they had her come back to do them because of the lawsuits and they needed to tie up other probably things. And so while we're here, let's have you fill in some other commentary so we can splice this through the remaining part of the season because
Yep.
I did notice, I didn't notice it from the angle of like weight loss. It almost was like,
her face is thinner.
you look seasoned now. Like in the earlier interviews, she's very like, I'm doing it. I'm doing the interviews. This was more relaxed. She was like,
Yeah.
like I've been doing this for a full season and now I've come back to redo some of them. But I will say that this episode made me realize something about how Monica's being utilized. Not by all of the ladies, but by some. We'll get there. But I'm just saying, this all started to like steamroll through me. I was like, oh my God. Does she realize what's happening? Does she not? How can you not realize what is happening?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if she knows.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
Mhm.
are you playing this dumb card because you're just trying to I don't know.
I don't either.
She knows how these things go. So I'm just a little confused. But.
Yep. I agree. Because there was something else she says later on that shows how much she has already watched the show. Oh my God, Angie and Meredith, after literally being at each other's throats in that Sprinter van, are seated right across from each other.
I mean, who did they not get to pick their seats, or are they not telling us something? Because like, if I just screamed at you like that and was I'm not sitting across from you at dinner.
I am beyond shocked that Meredith didn't put up a fit about that. I'm shocked. I thought Meredith was going to be like, now, Lisa, you sit across from your bestie over here.
Why do I feel like this is all like added stuff between Meredith and Angie? I think they know they have to like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's fake, but I do think they would have been over it a lot sooner in real life is all I'm saying. It's clearly a misunderstanding, but now it's like, at the Sprinter van moment, I forgot that there was even an issue between Angie and Meredith for a split second because I was like, oh, okay, they moved on. They put that to bed. Now we can be cordial and like move on. But then when she brought it back up, I was like, Are you guys really still mad about this? Or like,
Well, because on top of that, I missed this portion before dinner while their claws are still out. And, Meredith is saying to Angie that I think you're low down and dirty. And Angie says that she thinks Meredith is low down and dirty. And I think you're classless. And that's when in confessional, Meredith says, it gets to a point where you've been accused of something over and over that you may as well just do it. Do what, Meredith? Do what?
that reminds me of when everyone thought that Meredith was the one that called the feds on Jen, and she's like, did I?
I don't know.
Maybe I did, Andy. Like, I don't know. It's like she wants to lean into the villain role, but then she's like, plated by Meredith Marks is important. I don't want to piss people off. Like, it's just like this like weird sway back and forth. Because I feel like she'd be a good villain. Because you can't.
Oh, yeah.
She's very sinister, like, when she tilts the head and she's like 3 sheets to the wind or 2 sheets, whatever the saying is. And she's just kind of had a few shit. Like when I saw her at BravoCon, like the few times. And she's like, I'm going to dinner. And then she
like a jellyfish.
Tiny. I mean, I would assume 1 glass of champagne would be enough.
Yeah.
So 2 is like, whew.
She's done.
Yeah. Dinner time.
Mm-hmm. Well, they all end up apologizing to Meredith at dinner. And
Thank
Meredith
God.
says, yeah, I mean, she just basically says like she wanted to let everyone know that she was hurt and they can't be cognizant of her feelings if they don't know them. Okay, fine. Fair. Could it have been a shorter explanation of her feelings? Absolutely. Let's just call that what it is. Whitney uses this moment of the hurt feelings to bring up Lisa hurting my feelings. Excuse me, not hurt feelings, but hurt feelings. Whitney's feelings, Lisa tells her that she wasn't aware of the fact that she hurt Whitney's feelings at Meredith's event and that Whitney is the one who got to stay at the event and Lisa's the one who left upset. But Whitney wanted Lisa to be there for her and love me because she had just lost a dear friend. Again, you and I already touched on this, that yes, you can't really hold people to a lot when they are grieving to that extent. You and I both, like I said, personally, I am going through that right now, having just lost my grandfather. I understand that there are moments where you're like, what am I doing? However, you have enough moments of clarity at certain moments that you can be like, wow, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to. But we're not really we're not holding Whitney's feet to the fire for a lot of this. And that's the way it is supposed to be when someone's going through something like that. So I just keep wanting to really drive that home here, my friends. Lisa basically is telling Whitney that she feels like she's dancing on eggshells with her all the time. And that then in confessional, Lisa says she thinks that Whitney is looking for someone to take her grief out on instead of grieve with her, which may be true. I think Lisa, again, because Lisa's aware, right? Like this is just, Whitney doesn't know what to do with herself. I think maybe there needs to be just a touch of a pass in certain moments. And then in certain moments, okay, fine, Because when Lisa tells Whitney, you treated me shitty.
She did, though. She did. She didn't need to come in that hard. When Lisa says to Whitney, like, I'm a bulldog, so like I'm not like I've had to work on being sensitive. I'm not saying this is okay, guys. I'm very much the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Am I emotional? Absolutely. But I feel like Lisa's one of those people that's like how I would be. Like, I'm not going to assume that you want me to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry at an event in front of everyone. Right. But I'm also not sure how you want me to act with you. So I would probably feel a little awkward too.
Mm-hmm.
We've already said that it probably wasn't a good idea for her to go up to Heather in front of Whitney and parade these gifts around after this horrific thing has happened to Whitney. In terms of losing her friend, that's probably not what she wanted to see. Plus, she's already like, F you, Heather. Like, Now you're like up her butt too. Are you my friend or are you Heather's friend? Like, we're bad weather. Like, this isn't going to be like, you can't be in the middle. And so, yeah, it is kind of like eggshelly. You like, that's uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Like, whether you lost someone or not, like, this isn't the first time Whitney has tried to pin all of everything on one individual in the past. She's
Totally.
done this before, but we're letting her slide because
Yeah,
grief is not logical, right?
it's
It's
absolutely.
not.
That's the exact sentence right there. Grief is not logical.
No.
Which is part of why I think personally, I just wanted Lisa to go ahead because we know Lisa is the bigger person right now. We know because the way this devolves. And I just think if Lisa had just been like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let if you can tell me what you need from me, I will do my best to do that for you to my best capabilities. Because at this point, there was no winning here, and the subject
Mhm.
matter doesn't totally drive the story here. And it ends up taking away, and I don't think Whitney realizes that from the actual fact that her best friend died. And so that's the point there. It's not about Lisa, but Whitney keeps getting mad at Lisa saying you keep making it about you, but Whitney keeps making it about Lisa. And I think it's at this point that it's like, no, it's not about that. Let's move on, and why don't you share good memories about Sherry? I don't think anyone would dislike seeing that type of thing. It's just I need that subject to be moved on from. Does that
I
make sense?
think what this all boils down to is, at least, and this is my opinion, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but I've been to many. I think that Whitney lost someone who was her best friend, who was probably like a sister to her.
Mhm.
And so in those moments, you look around for something familiar to that.
Mm,
And obviously, she's closest to Lisa at this point on the show. So she's looking to Lisa, not logically. Again, this isn't logical, but I think she's projecting some of the things that she misses already about having that friendship that she no longer has. And she's scanning the room and she sees Lisa not hitting any of those immediate boxes.
you're
And
so right.
it's just, it's triggering her. And
No,
I
you're
think
right.
really what Whitney needed was a lot of hugs. As much as
Mhm.
I will say this, she picked and chose who could give her that attention. Because again, last episode, we saw Meredith love up on her and hold her and coddle
Yeah.
her. And y'all were just fighting about ketamine 3, episodes back. So it's
Right.
just like, okay, you accepted that from her. Then when Monica tries to come, you're like,
Right.
no. But then Lisa's like, hey, and you're like, you didn't care about me. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, I sent you flowers. I respond. It's not like she didn't respond to her text. So that's what I think it really is about. And I wish
Totally.
Whitney would have at the dinner, not that she would have gotten to that place yet,
Mm,
but in a perfect world, it would have been Whitney being like, you know what, Lisa, I was really hard on you unnecessarily. I get that you were doing your best. I didn't receive it that way in the moment, but I'm also in a pot full of feelings. And I hope that you can at least see that I didn't mean to come at you that way and isolate you. I guess I was taking out my frustration on someone I knew would ultimately still be there for me.
right.
Because you didn't respond to my text messages, that added fuel to the fire, which, listen, I wouldn't respond to text messages either if I was iced out the way Lisa was. So I kind of understand because she made her look like an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, it very valid and good points were made. I think you are absolutely 1000% correct that Whitney is looking for that sister that she had in Cherry, and she's not seeing it at that table. And because eventually the way it devolves into then accusing Heather of meddling in her friendship with Lisa, because that's the thing is Lisa eventually says, okay, well, while we're on the subject, you think you're making me a better person by being friends with you. Ooh, also, I just have to say, Whitney chipmunking that escargot or the mussels or whatever the effing hell was in her little cheek during half of this argument. I was like, if you don't swallow that or spit it out, all I could see was,
What? But you're meddling in my friendship with Lisa.
that's all I could see. Tell me you saw that.
I mean, I did. I guess she really wanted to keep going. She didn't want to lose her soundbite. So she was like, I can't swallow my food. So let me put it right here. Lisa, you should have. I think. So two things are happening here. Whitney has this like passive aggressive thing going on with Heather that I don't even think Heather even thinks is happening in real time. I think she thinks that they're kind of trying to move forward. But then at this dinner, it becomes very clear, oh, we're not moved on at all, bitch. Like you are literally trying to find any reason to try to come at me now, like because you think I'm meddling in your friendship with Lisa. Are you joking? What did you call her? Lisa Barlow devotee?
Yeah, devotee. Yeah,
Devotee to the Church of Lisa Barlow.
well, because that's the thing too, is it's like it lends to the fact that Whitney is clawing at desperately keeping this friendship with Lisa, even though she's pushing her away all at the same time. She's doing a push and pull that she doesn't even realize is happening. It's almost like she's trying to protect herself from being hurt by Lisa, while also so she's pushing her away, but then she's also, but please love me, please love me, please love me, show me love. And Lisa's just, her head's spinning at this point. It's like, what do you want from me? And especially when it's brought up again, about when Lisa brings it up that Whitney had told Heather that she was helping Lisa become a better person. And Heather really, I believe that Heather was relaying the exact information she was given. Did Heather eventually realize, oh, this is interesting, because they're housewives and they know what they're doing?
Well, and also Heather's also like, I think secretly in the moment was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep picking at you now with this information, Lisa, because it's clearly bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is interesting because I didn't think that was that bad of a thing. I thought that, because I think initially she was really trying to keep the peace, like, or she was trying to at least start off that way. But I think clearly based on Lisa's reaction to that first sentence, she was like, oh, well, this will be a fun dinner, won't it?
Right. Oh, I just want to say hi, June. Thanks for joining.
June.
So when you had already brought up how Lisa had said that, are you kidding me? I'm a fucking bulldog. I can take everybody out, and I temper myself and I quiet myself. I change the way I am around certain people because not everybody can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And Whitney fully proves Lisa's point by saying,
do you do that because you love me or because you think I can't handle it?
And it's in that baby voice. And I know that's just Whitney's voice to a certain extent. But Whitney, if you're trying to prove that you are not someone who can't take who Lisa truly is and take some of her harder moments, then you need to speak from your diaphragm.
But
I mean, you do it because you love me.
You love me, bitch.
You love me.
I just don't get this like fake Paris Hilton voice thing now, like that other people are trying to now do. Like, I thought you were my friend. Like, no, Whitney, talk normal, because you were blasting her ass at the Plated by Meredith Marks event just fine.
Yeah.
So have a real dialogue. And yes, I agree with Lisa. There are some people that you do have to tailor how you say things, because you know they're going to run off and be an innocent fawn in the woods when they're usually the ones that are running their mouth. Let's be honest. It's usually those people that they can dish it, they cannot take it. And listen, Lisa Barlow is your friend, but she's also doesn't come across like someone who coddles people. She's very much someone who's like, no, you're good. You're going to be fine. Like, you'll figure it out. I'm here for you. So don't view her in some like, she's not self-aware either. Because she words out like she wasn't being self-aware, or, this, that, and the other. Do you love me? Like, what does that have to do? What did she actually do to you? That's the question. You have to question that, which is why I think she's triggered by this whole situation with her friend passing, because I think it's all just like hitting her. Also, it's got to be a wild experience to lose someone who's really your friend, like a sister, and then come sit with a group of women you aren't really friends with, that you have to pretend that you were in a friend group with for the sake of a show. So I think there's a couple things going on there. Unfortunately, it's just she can't say that. So she's got to spit it out in a way that she can.
Yeah, and there's something specific you said in there, which is that Lisa doesn't coddle people. I agree that I don't think Lisa coddles people, but I do find that Lisa is usually the first person to go after whoever has run off and comfort them. So,
We will see her do that for Monica.
yes,
shortly.
we will. Yes, we
So,
will.
yeah.
Over what? We're going to have to find out. You know what? I loved that Angie and Meredith look at each other, because this lends to the point you were making before, where it's like, are they really that mad at each other still? Like, is it really that big of that issue? Because Meredith looks over at Angie and she says, at least it's not us. And Angie's like, cheers to that. And I loved that moment. I was like, yes, this is what I need in my Housewives. This is what one of the only things that I don't feel like enough of the franchises will do that the OG Roni ladies would do, which is they could just eviscerate each other and then they'd be like, okay, who's taking shots? And they'd move on. They'd only bring it up when they needed to.
You need a sense of humor, baby. You can't go on this show and have sensitive feelings. You will not last. I'm telling you right now. I am telling you, I think Jeff asked me this like a few weeks ago. He's like, would you ever be able to handle if you were like, I think it was like if you were in the hot seat for the season, people were just coming at you left and right. I was like, would I be a fucking maniac? Absolutely. But I would laugh about it at the same time. Like I could do that is what I'm saying. Like if I was screaming back and forth with you or someone else that I'm really friends with, then yeah, I can make a joke later. If some other group in the group of fighting, I could turn around and be like, oh, Lisa's not us this time, girl. Like,
yeah,
and laugh. It's just how this is supposed to go. It's conflict resolution. And that was such a good example of that.
Well, and that's like a good point that you have to really think about. Let's say if it were you and I, and we were, I don't know, whatever, their own version of the Real Friends of what's its fuck. And you and I would have an understanding that we would look at each other and we would know, well, shit, Giorgio, I'm just not going to go below the belt. If I do, just roll with it.
Yes, I am so okay with that. I don't think that's producing yourself. I think that's just signing up for the game. You have to go out. You can't just go to these trips and dinners and just sit there and be like, haha, it's so great. No, you got to nitpick. You got to do something. Angie, God bless her, but she has that one thing that she's got to she's going to keep bringing it home when it gets too quiet. She's like, and you know what, Meredith? So it's just like, you know what I mean?
What about the threats?
We're just trying to we're trying to make a show happen. And I think these ladies specifically have had a lot of pressure based on prior seasons with maybe not bringing it, or it's not that interesting, or it's too produced. So this season, there seems to be this great mix. Now we're getting that crazy momentum that actually makes sense. It's so crazy. It's good.
Yeah.
Not so crazy. Like, what the hell was that? So I think it's going in the right direction. And I think most of them that have been on the show, Lisa being one of them, understands 1000% how this goes. And so she's always going to be Lisa Barlow. And I think she knows that she has to be. Meredith is the same way. As much Meredith, I think, is maybe a little bit more distant from what she comes off like.
Yeah.
I think she also knows that this is her shtick on the show. She's got to play certain elements of her personality up. Heather's now gotten it. I don't know if Whitney has. I think Whitney's still stuck in the like, yes, she's messy, but I'm going to pretend like I'm this like goddess who's trying to like make people better. Which is like, girl, enough. Like,
truly though.
The hypocrisy of so much of the stuff Whitney said this season, based on what we know about her, is crazy to me. It's crazy.
Well, because after she's already told Heather to shut the fuck up, and Heather's like, excuse me. Heather, like you said, brought up, all of a sudden you're the devotee to the Lisa cult. And when did you become so close as friends that you wanted Lisa to be the first person you hugged when your best friend died? So when Whitney tells Heather they have no idea about Whitney and Lisa's friendship, and Heather wants her to explain it, Whitney says,
because if I tried to tell you, you'd all be triggered and try to ruin it.
This pops Heather off. Because Heather's like, I'm not trying to ruin your friendship with Lisa, you little psychotic devotee.
She's like, you little
Next-
shit.
Yeah, she's like, what are you going to call her, Mother God next? If y'all haven't watched that wild ass documentary, oh my God. Wow. Yeah. So, and even like Monica's like, no, girl, that was too low. No, girl. You know when you're getting the Monica
saying that was too
girl.
low. If Monica said that was too low,
Shit. Bad. Whitney thinks it's none of Heather's business in this conversation, and she feels like she's doing all of this to activate Lisa and make things worse. But Heather says in confessional, because Heather wanted to get her soundbite, right?
Oh, dear sweet cousin, I am not trying to ruin your friendship with Lisa. You can do that all on your own with little to no help from me, possibly at this dinner.
She's not wrong. Okay.
No.
It was a little
No.
too, and because Heather is saying this is crazy, and Whitney has now regressed. She has fully regressed to a teenage girl, and
Yeah.
teenage Whitney was in a very different place. So that's when Whitney's saying,
Don't call me crazy.
and both Heather and Lisa say at the same time, this is crazy. And Heather goes,
Oh, look, your best friend said it, so I guess it's true.
now here's the thing okay, Monica shows her cards on how much she has watched this show already, because Monica points out,
You guys, we have literally brought the bad weather.
of course, do I think Jen probably locked her up in a basement and forced her to like watch her on Salt Lake City and take notes until her fingers bled? Possibly.
1000%. But yeah, she, between that and the Taylor Swift soundbite that she tried to throw out there, like, what was it, the Pioneer brunch? I don't like it at all when a new housewife comes on and uses a soundbite from the show before they were on. I don't care if everyone else on the cast is using it. I don't care. I would not use terminology because I would want to come off like as much as I wouldn't, because obviously I would go watch the show, but I would do a really good job. I know I would, of going on. What are you guys talking about? Wait, what are you getting at?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? Like, that is what
I've seen you do that. Now I've seen it, and I'm not going to use names. I'm not going to use, but the way I have watched Georgio in action, where someone said something, and the way he pitched it back to them, because how do I frame this? So someone said, I've been having an issue with X, Y, and Z. And me, I was ready to be like, oh my God, well, X, Y, and Z sucks then. And Georgia goes, well, issue how with X, Y, and Z? And I was like, I remember I popped my head and looked at you. I was like, oh, yeah, how?
Well, I always learned from my dad that you should always observe and ask. Even when you're being asked a question, you should ask a question back for clarity. And yes, I do that because I secretly think I was meant to be a producer for one of these shows, because I am someone that I would love to sit and ask questions all day to someone in an interview seat, because I know I could pull out information and they would probably tell me stuff that they were like, why did I just tell you that? Because I'm just people are comfortable with me like that. And yes, I'm not going to show my cards. I will not. And I am a vault, guys. I am a vault. If you tell me something and you say, do not tell anyone, and it's in the vault, it's in the vault. I will play dumb until the cows come home.
Mm-hmm. I just want y'all to know that Georgio knows how to do it. Okay. I'm just saying.
Tell you something. I can't wait till we do Beverly Hills. I've been practicing
Well, yeah. So y'all, we're not going to be live when we do Beverly Hills, but I'm going to do my very best to release it tonight. We'll see. We're recording it after this, and there might be some masterpiece theater happening. I may have sent Georgio a script. Who knows?
You know what? You might see me on Lifetime late after this, because I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, love random thing that Whitney thinks she could beat Heather's ass because she has
Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. I could break her elbow.
I just picture Whitney running up to Heather like as if she is, and Heather just doing this and then throwing her across the room and like going, like continuing on like nothing happens. Like that's what was so funny because it's like Whitney's like
No.
one of those like one of the kids that's like always looking to like get attention somehow. And she's like, be me. You didn't be mean to me. You mean to me. I'm just like, shut up. We love you, Whitney. It's just a little whiny lately.
Yeah. Honestly, you summed up exactly how I feel. I do like Whitney. It may sound like I don't like any of these people.
It's actually sounding like we don't like any of them.
Yeah, but we
But
do.
we do
I don't know
really.
how. Yeah, I don't know how to
Our
explain it.
jobs, guys, can't just lick their assholes. We have to.
No, exactly. And plus, y'all wouldn't trust us to give our honest
No.
opinions if we were sitting here just talking
Don't you
about how
know
much we
they
love
would be
them.
like, oh, you guys are just paid them. You guys are up their ass.
I wish. God.
Oh.
So Monica and Meredith are left behind. This is where things get very interesting.
God.
Uh-huh. Oh, I hear an echo. Something just happened. Do you hear the echo?
I don't.
I like suddenly hear my voice so loud. Okay. Okay, we're good now. Sorry. Trying to make sure everything for the audio is good too, guys, so that when I don't have the excuse that we're live, I don't sound like a crazy person. So where were we? Yes, Monica and Meredith are sharing a glass of wine, and love how Monica was trying so hard not to laugh at Meredith about still being upset about the bath. But we get these flashbacks of the two of them spending time together in Park City, and Meredith at this point, she looks shit canned. Okay. Meredith looks schmammered. I don't know it. She's not all there. Okay.
Well, again, you literally just got an IV because you were dehydrated, and then you went to dinner and had more cocktails. Like, it's not an aspirin. Like, you don't just take. Like,
No.
you're supposed to just take it easy.
Let it do its work.
Yeah, she was like, good thing it's not us, Angie.
Exactly. Okay, so sorry. Now I'm getting so many distractions at the moment. I apologize. I forgot to turn my focus on. The thing is, Meredith starts saying that Angie won't let up and that Angie just gets upset when she reacts after poking her. And Meredith then says, gaslighting and manipulation 101. And Monica doesn't know what's going on because Monica goes, 101, poo shit. What?
Yeah, because Meredith had told her, I guess, this like thing that she said, and Monica was trying to be like I'm your friend, and I remember everything you say, all those little funny things you say, Meredith.
So Monica brings up that Meredith said she's been through this before. Deja vu. They're talking about Jen because they're talking about Angie. They think that they are about to uncover the next big fraud of Salt Lake City, and they think it's going to be Angie. That's the deja vu, clearly, that they thought they were talking about. And Monica then brings up that the Instagram account that was sending them things on Angie and says that Meredith told her how Utah used to be run by the Greek mafia or Park City, what have you. And Meredith then called that after all of this happened, that they started getting the stuff allegedly on Instagram. They received things. And that's when Meredith called Monica. And Monica says that Meredith told her to check her DMs to see if she just so happened to receive them. And Monica says in confessional, which is clearly a newer confessional, the way she says, and lo and behold, she did receive these messages.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little slip up that Monica made after she says that she received more things from this account that was saying that there were documents for Angie's bankruptcy and tax liens, all alleged. And then Monica says, "Did you get that message too?" Did you get that
So I
message?
have, I could not sit through this scene because first of all, we got a screenshot of everything but the username, which
There you
that's
go.
fine.
Thank you. That's my next point. Exactly.
You didn't show the username. You didn't even show it and blur it. It says the person had 16 followers. So let's put this in perspective, Meredith. When I or yourself, if the housewife is not following us and we DM them, more than likely, where's that message going to go, Caitlin?
Straight into the requests.
Okay. And if you are a public figure or a housewife, do you think that your request folder might probably be inundated? No?
A lot. Even mine
Maybe?
is.
Oh, okay. I'm not a housewife, and I'm by no means on any level as some of these other even
Same.
creators out here.
Same.
But I have a lot of requests that I do go through because I don't like missing some of your messages because I do like to communicate with you guys in the DMs. So that's why I do it. Meredith going in her DMs and just casually seeing this message is just a little bit too convenient. And you telling Monica, I think you got the same one, even though it says in the message that they didn't send it to both you and Monica. So can you let her know? It was just a message letting you know. Like, I've gotten messages like that. But Caitlin, I don't know if you care, but Angie did clarify what the tax lien part of it was to me. I would love to share that.
Please do.
With the audience. Okay.
Please do.
Now, this wasn't after this episode.
No.
Someone had sent me, I would say, well, let me tell you. This was on middle of November. Someone, Dana Wilkie, made a video where someone had sent in these tax liens, and I had already been sent them because I got a message too that was like, not about Angie, but they're like, why do these people go on TV and pretend if this is true, like this is so embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. Me doing the due diligence that I do, I went to Angie and I said, I sent her the forms and I said, what's going on?
Right.
So she explains that the tax lien that everyone's passing around or trying to make a thing was, she was, as a business owner, she was providing loans, paying mortgages and leases at 12 business locations with zero income during the pandemic. She said, as soon as we opened, we are operating after COVID. It was taken care of. It's interesting that out of 30 years, this one thing is what people will focus on. So it seems like what she did was she filed an extension on her taxes. And obviously at that time, everything was so slowed down. And I can't imagine with her and her husband having 12 locations of a place that is not thriving during COVID, like many other places.
Yeah.
You still got to pay the rent on these places. So eventually it catches up. So everyone was doing what they could. And let's not mince words. A lot of business people that didn't really have big businesses were getting PPP loans, Monica. But nonetheless, that is, take it for what it is. She's not broke, you guys. It's just business. And business and personal finances are always separate.
Yeah.
So I think this should get tossed in the garbage because it's not really it's not what they thought it was giving.
No. And then because Meredith then trying to play dumb, like she had no idea what she was talking about and she didn't care. And Monica picked up on that because obviously we're going to see after Meredith has been like, oh, Monica's the only one that's had my back this whole trip. And then Monica is going to go ahead and betray her by telling Lisa about which of all people to be telling. That was really odd. Because at this point she was closer to Heather. So why wouldn't she tell Heather? Because it's not that Heather and Meredith are at odds necessarily, but it's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
And Heather would have brought it up, or she could have told Whitney. And Whitney sure as shit would have brought that up and stirred the pot. So it's very bizarre where this is going. And it's very confusing because obviously Meredith, the attorney, is pleading the fifth. She's not even about to admit to knowing these documents exist because she's looking at Monica like she's the little kid that she said, oh, here, I'm going to tell you about this thing, but don't tell anyone else. Don't bring it up until I tell you to. And Monica went ahead and brought it up when Meredith was too hammered to even fully engage in it. Meredith is like, I am too hammered for this shit. You need to bring this up first thing in the morning after my coffee and my bathtub soak.
I just don't understand where even Monica, like, where are you going with this? Because here's my thing, Miss, I'm gonna post my own mugshot today. Like, I'm
Wait,
good for
what?
you. Monica made a post today, and I guess people are trying to, like, she said people are trying to exploit her past. And so she was like, and then she, I guess, said that she had a warrant out for her arrest for not paying a traffic ticket that was $100. So then she shared her reunion look and glam. And then the third slide was her mugshot from that. So it seems like, I guess, people are out there trying to, like, expose her past. And she's like, I've always exposed my own stuff. Like, I don't need, like, everyone doing that. So here you go, kind of thing. Like, I'm going to put myself out there, which fine. I'm not saying don't. All I'm saying is that why are you coming in like a hurt dog and pretending like these women are, like, treating you the way you're coming in acting? It's what's confusing to me. If you came in as a humble single mom, guarantee you they would rally around your ass.
Absolutely.
Mainly because it would make them feel better about themselves
And look
But
better.
Nonetheless, you played this as if, like, you're too cool for school and you're going to call out all this stuff with Lisa and she's so materialistic, but yet you're up Meredith's ass, and Meredith is literally creating an affordable line of jewelry that's still too expensive for the consumer at Macy's. So that's where I get confused with her. Because if you're going to have that attitude with Lisa, then have it with everyone that's doing the same. I mean, it's just strange. And then I think Monica was bringing it up because she saw that Meredith was drunk and maybe perhaps she'd get Meredith to talk about it on camera. Meredith's not dumb.
No.
She may be lit, but she's not dumb. She's not going to talk about this with you at all.
She may be lit, embracing her villain era, ready to jump in a bathtub and lose her shit if you don't let her. But Meredith Marks is not stupid. That's for damn sure.
No.
She is not. And so I fully agree. I
Pass the bar when you're done.
absolutely not. God. Y'all, I'm really anxious to see the next episode. I'm really excited to see it. If you haven't checked out Georgio's podcast, Georgio Says, we covered the Paris in Love season 2, like the entire season in one episode last week. Go watch and listen to that. You think I like to do impressions? Georgio had me fall out of my damn chair at one point. Paris. You have to go listen. I want you to go listen to the podcast to hear this impression. How about that?
Thank you.
It was so good. Please leave a lovely review. I used to say just leave a nice one. No, we need 5-star reviews around here. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit like, because the more people we have subscribing, the more people we have watching, the more often it makes it possible to do this. So, you know, and
it's not a threat, it's a promise.
Exactly. Oh, see, did you hear? Even Mr. is in the background, like, you better fucking tell him, Mr. Anyhow, you know where to find Georgio, don't you? Georgio, tell him.
Georgio Says on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube's, everywhere. Georgio Says.
And I'm at Besties by Caitlin on Instagram, Besties by Bravo on TikTok, which go ahead and go check out my latest TikTok where I bought the quote unquote iconic Sir dress from Sir Restaurant. And it was a little unexpected. How about that? All right.
Mine hasn't arrived yet. No, I
Ugh.
didn't order it. I wish I would have now.
Oh, well. Mm,
I just
yes.
feel like it wouldn't cover my nips.
Certainly didn't cover anything.
Oh,
Go check out the video is basically what I'm saying. Anyhow, okay, friends, after you listen to this, check out the Beverly Hills recap we're going to do next. We won't be live, like I said, but it will be up within 24 hours. Giorgio, I'm saying goodbye to you in front of our friends, but I will see you again in 2 minutes.
absolutely. See you there. Bye, guys.
Bye.